Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. Today we have another crossover here for you where we are going to talk about the biggest questions surrounding the other teams in the Pacific Division with JD Hernandez of Locked On Ducks.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Another team that I'm looking at that has some big question marks, in not a good way, is Vegas.
Yep.
Vegas has the minus question marks because they just lost Robin Lehner for the season. And now they have to rely on Logan Thompson. Now, those that follow the AHL like I do, they remember Logan Thompson being a somewhat stalwart with the Henderson Silver Knights, and who also unceremoniously had a not so good postseason in 2021's weird Pacific Division playoff against the Bakersfield Condors. And I don't want to say it was a choke job, but he kind of had a bad time there. And it just didn't work out for him. And I kind of felt bad for Logan because some of that wasn't his fault, but he let in some cupcakes on that series against Bakersfield, and that made him look really bad. And I remember thinking to myself, this is the guy that you want to rely on a little bit. I'm not so sure about that one. So I don't think Vegas can rely on Logan Thompson being either their number one or their number two goaltender.
Yeah.
He's going to have to come a long way. And Vegas can't necessarily go out and get a superstar goaltender because guess what?
They don't have any money.
They have cap issues.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to really focus on maybe getting a veteran goalie. Maybe there's a veteran goalie out there in the market. Maybe they could pull an Edmonton Oilers and strike oil, kind of like Mike Smith did for a while. And then Mike Smith, as our former colleague used to say, he turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
And look what happened there. Vegas turned into a pumpkin, and they missed the playoffs altogether, which can we take about 5 seconds and just
Chef's kiss.
and just celebrate that for a second?
Yeah.
Woo! Can we do that for 5 seconds? Like,
Yeah.
happy, like, yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Vegas is out. Dunk it on Vegas.
Yeah. My question here is with Vegas as well.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, Bruce Cassidy is now their new head coach. Bruce Cassidy was fired by Don Sweeney at his own home.
Unceremoniously.
Just showed up. To rewind even further, Don Sweeney told Bruce Cassidy that his job was safe and he didn't have to worry about it. Shows up at this man's house. Probably, Mrs. Cassidy's probably making them some lunch, hanging out, and Bruce gets fired.
Yeah. By the way, here's some Eggs Benedict on the way out.
Right. And then is he going to be able to learn from his mistakes in Boston? Because it's, I think that he's a good coach. I liked him a lot. I thought there were definitely moments where I was scratching my head, but there was never a moment where I felt like he lost the room, where I felt like he was making decisions that were truly fireable offenses, where you're just kind of like, what?
Oh, wow.
What do you do? And is Jack Eichel going to be healthy? What will a healthy Jack Eichel look like now that he's outside of Buffalo?
There's a lot of question marks there. And I'll start with this. I forgot about the whole Bruce Cassidy losing the team. I forgot about that until you just brought that back. He did lose that room.
He lost it because he wouldn't play pasta with Krejci.
Yeah, and you could see the struggles on the ice at that time. And you brought up someone else that I completely forgot about. Is Jack Eichel the curse in all this?
It's the
I
new
mean,
Taylor Hall curse.
there's worse. I don't want to say there's worse curses than that. However,
The Red
Jack,
Sox were cursed for 86 years, so I mean,
yeah, the Chicago White Sox were cursed for 90 years. I
yeah.
mean, I
The
see your
Cubs were
point.
what, 116 or something?
106 years.
106. So, I
No,
added
it might be
an
more than
extra 10.
that. Hold on. 106 years.
Yeah. So,
Either way.
either way, that's a really long time.
Yeah, so maybe Jack Eichel is the curse because look how well Buffalo did after he left. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
And then Vegas, they kind of took a turn for the worse, thanks to the Evgeny Dadonov episode, which Ducks fans are still kind of, by
I
the way.
don't.
Yeah, Ducks fans are still kind of thought that, oh, they could have gotten Dadonov and they would have gotten a second round pick. Oh, that's awesome. What, you're avoiding the trade? Ah!
Yeah.
It's madness.
I
You,
just
you
have
could
a.
see you can see why I don't like Vegas for multiple reasons.
Yeah. And I think that, there have been front office missteps, far too
That
many for them for how young Vegas is.
that being said, I have them finishing 6th in the division.
Ooh.
I have them that far down. You want your
Yeah.
hot take? There it is.
I like that. That is that's a smoking hot take. I was gonna say I see them finishing outside of playoff contention again, just because they're not able to fix this cap space problem right now. And
Nope. And that's going to be the biggest issue. They're going to try to finesse their way like Tampa Bay did, and they failed already, and they're going to continue failing in that regard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I see Vegas that far down
Hey,
where you're going to
this
see a
isn't a
bunch of
Golden Knights show, so
No,
you don't
it's
have to apologize.
I have to call it like it is. I
Yeah,
really do
that's fair.
at this point in time.
Yeah.
And I have Seattle down there, and I have San Jose down there.
Thank you so much for tuning in to part 1 of part 2 of our Locked on Ducks, Locked on Flames crossover. This is such a fun episode to record and to go back and listen to. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I do. But before we get further into this, I did just want to say a quick thank you to our partners at BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your betting needs. Find your favorite sports and events at the #1 source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, golf, and even esports. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts that have you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Please gamble responsibly. So I said my bottom three. So where does that leave the Ducks and the Canucks and the Flames and the Oilers and the Kings?
Canucks
ready
are
for
not
this?
finishing in playoff contention.
No. I have the Ducks 4th. I think the Ducks could make a push for the playoffs. Now the question is going to be the Central Division. How are those other teams on the bubble going to do?
Yeah.
Is it going to be 2 Central teams that are wild card teams, or is it going to be 3 Pacific teams and that's it?
Right.
That's going to be a huge question in this division. So I look at the Ducks possibly be on the outside looking in. I see Vancouver outside looking in, possibly 5th. So I have Flames, Oilers, Kings again, but
You
this
think
is
the Flames are going to finish first?
no.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, I don't.
Okay, I was going to say
Wait, okay. Where do you have them finishing?
third.
3rd? So do I.
Yeah,
I have them 3rd.
I see them going back to their middle of the road hockey, but they're consistently good at this
Ooh.
middle of the road hockey.
Who do you have winning the division? Is it who we think it is?
It's the Oilers.
Yeah, I have. So we both have the Kings 2nd.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be close. I really do think it'll be close. I don't really see there's question marks surrounding all of these teams because I don't know what Jack Campbell's going to look like. I don't know if the Oilers are going to stay healthy. I don't know what Evander Kane might do now that he has a little bit of job security.
Soup is going to be interesting in net, isn't he?
Yeah.
Man.
Which is why I feel like it's still too early to like officially say they win the division. But I do think the Flames just kind of regress. There's no way that they're going to, and not regress in like a drastic way. Knock on wood, please. I can't do it. I can't do another year of losing unless you want a new host. But
okay, so you saw where I rank the Ducks. Where do you have on the rest of the division? Like, who do you have as your 4 through 8? Because now I'm curious. Because our 1, 2, 3 are the same.
Yeah, I would say 4th will be the Ducks.
Ooh.
5th, Vegas. I think that they'll be all right. Seattle and Vancouver are going to be fighting it for.
You have San Jose dead last.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because
that's tough. Okay.
I know. And I just did a crossover with the other JD from Locked On Sharks.
Yeah, the not so handsome JD.
JD of the North. And I wonder what they're going to look like. I wonder what, their prospect pool stinks. They weren't any good. The Barracuda were the worst team in the AHL last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inevitable that Erik Karlsson's going to get hurt again.
Yeah.
And
that's a shame too.
Right. I hate saying that. I am one of the biggest Erik Karlsson truthers out there. Mike Hoffman, and I hope you're unemployed. But I really don't see them making any progress, even if Eklund joins the team. I don't. Their goalie situation is not great. They have to figure out, you don't staple a 4th liner to the bench because he messed up. He's your 4th liner for a reason. He's there to learn more than likely. But I don't know. I really think it will come down to the Sharks and Canucks being the bottom of the barrel.
Wow. See, I think that's where we disagree on the Canucks because you have them at 7th. I have the Canucks at 5th this season. And I'll tell you why. I do think they made some decent enough moves that they could stay afloat for a while. And I like their defense well enough. And the offense can generate when need be. So I'm not gonna say I believe in the Canucks, but I think they're going to be better than maybe some people think or some people realize. Hey, you know what? They could make some noise.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to our second part of the Locked On Flames, Locked On Ducks crossover. I am just here to take one more final break before we head into the final segment. But please just take a minute to remember to drive sober. You're hanging out with some friends and putting a few back. A few becomes a few too many. As the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, you think of calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. You can make it home okay. It's really no big deal. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you lose your job, you total your car, or you kill someone. Everyone knows the risks of drinking and driving. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop them from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. And so if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life and someone else's forever. He just looks so
And I'm also a believer in Elias Pettersson and Brock Besser. I think this could be a breakout year for them. The only thing, they don't have the depth that a lot of other teams have. So I think eventually they'll run out of steam. So I have them fifth.
That's fair. I think that's very fair.
And then Vegas sixth, which is gonna piss off the Vegas people. But that's okay because we both
Yeah,
don't
it's
like them too
fine.
much. And then I have Seattle seventh, San Jose dead last.
Yeah, I think Seattle is going to be interesting. Some of the models have them projected winning 5 more games than last season, which, I mean, good for them. Models are flawed. We'll see how that goes. But
Can you believe some models have Anaheim last in the division again?
no, I didn't.
Like a couple of
That's
them. A lot of them have them seventh.
I don't
I
think they're
cannot
going to be that bad.
I cannot wait till the Ducks prove everyone wrong when they finish fourth in the division, clinging onto a playoff hope, and they say, "Ha ha ha! You thought we were going to be terrible."
I don't know if people think that Anaheim are like the Sabres of the West, but they actually have like a competent front office.
Pat for Beak, baby.
That I don't think that Buffalo ever had that. So
Nope.
and that's why Anaheim is light years ahead of Buffalo in terms of their retooling, whatever you like to call it.
They are light years ahead, and a lot of buzz around the team now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That
I
was very good. That
I
was
hate myself. I hate myself for that one.
good. So JD, to wrap up the
So
show, do you have anything?
can we wrap up and have some fun here?
Yeah, let's.
Because
So the
I
hockey
want to
talk
just
is
have
done. Bonus content time.
I want to have fun here
Okay.
because if they're watching this, so we're not just hockey fans, and we talked about music a little bit earlier. We talked
Yes.
about Johnny B. Good being replicated, and I know I've done this to you several times. One of my favorite wacky songs is Bread, and I still can't believe Andrew Mangiapane has that as his goal song. If you haven't seen it, it's a party trip. It's just everybody gets some bread and like this weird, funky techno. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but I love it and I'm addicted to that song. It's so awesome. Yeah. If you had a goal song,
Ooh, okay.
what would be your. We're going to have some fun with this here.
Okay. It would probably be "Look What You Made Me Do" by Taylor Swift, or probably a Billy Joel song, but I don't know which one.
Ooh.
I don't. No, it would be "That's Life" by Frank Sinatra, because
That's a good one.
that's life. I scored on you. Get used to it.
That is a good one.
What would you pick?
See, I've actually thought about this, and I still kind of struggle with like what songs I would choose. So, first off, coming out of the arena, "Crazy Train." I have to have "Crazy Train" by Ozzy Osbourne, just
Okay.
because I like the intro to the song.
Yes, that's the only cool part of the song.
As far as a goal song, gosh, if I'm gonna go old school,
Mhm.
and I want to go like kind of like jazzy mood, I would go like the big band, like big part of "Sing Sing Sing." So we're going
Ooh,
really, really old school jazz.
I like that. All right.
You know what song I'm really digging is "Narco," the Edwin Diaz walk off song for the New York Mets with the trumpets. You gotta admit that's really cool.
You do. We have to admit the trumpets are pretty awesome.
I heard that and I'm like, that'd be a cool goal song.
Yeah.
And you can get the crowd into it, and you could have them clapping along at the same time.
I think one of my biggest quote unquote flaws as a hockey fan and a music fan is hearing a song and being like, this would be my walk up song. or this would be a killer goal song. Just this would be on the warm-ups playlist.
Yeah, Sarah Avampado, who works at Chirp, she played a couple songs recently, and I mentioned, I'm like, that'd be a good goal song. That's a hockey song right there.
Right.
So, like, I have my
I was
lists.
singing Chelsea Dagger the other day while making dinner. I know.
No,
And I didn't mean to. I just started humming it, and then I was like, oh my God. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Anyways, burn the Chicago Blackhawks organization down to the ground.
Yeah, I hope they finish dead last. Don't bet on the Blackhawks. Bet responsibly.
Yeah. So
I wrote this question specifically for you.
Oh God.
Tying hockey and music together. And I should have asked this before, but I wanted to save this for last.
Okay.
You're a big Johnny Gaudreau fan, right?
Yes.
And it was kind of not a breakup, but it was a weird parting of the ways.
Yeah.
So I will ask you, what Taylor Swift breakup song do you think is the most appropriate? Or like, what do you think matches Johnny Gaudreau leaving the Calgary
Flames?
Flames?
What comes to mind is Dear John off of the Speak Now album, but that song is so devastating and just like it paints him as like this god-awful person. And as far as I know, Gaudreau is not an awful person. But gosh, maybe.
Yeah, all my Swifties out there, they're like, really?
Yeah, no, they're probably like, why can't you think of one? But no, I know exactly what it is. It's Right Where You Left Me. It's a bonus track off of, is it Folklore? Yeah, Folklore. And it's just like their world ending, coming to an end. Or It's Time to Go, which is another bonus track. But, oh God. I'm going to say, I don't know. I need to look through this and think because
I know you're a big Swiftie, so this is like in your wheelhouse too.
It is. And that I can't believe I'm having such a hard time thinking of one. I guess, I mean, All Too Well because like you just, think about it a lot.
Yeah, my first thought was All Too Well also.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to say Cruel Summer as well.
I think if there was a song to sum up the Flame summer, it would 200% be Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer. Yeah. I do think that sums up the Flames as a whole.
Yeah.
But as far as Johnny Gaudreau, I mean, my first thought
we are never ever getting back together.
My first thought was All Too Well.
Yeah.
But there's some good songs on there. So I do have a Taylor Swift song that kind of relates to the Ducks a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
Like just a little bit. Blank Space.
I like it.
And I'll tell you why. Because I look at like, you have like some new stuff. I'm trying to remember the lyric, but there's like new
money, suit and tie.
There we go. New money, suit and tie. And that's kind of what the Ducks are right now. Like they have money to spend. They got some new players. They got some new personnel. They got a new GM. So that's what I feel like the Ducks are. If it was a Taylor Swift song, it would totally be Blank Space 1,000%.
I love that. No, that's excellent. That, and I appreciate you coming in here with that kind of question.
Yeah, am I a low-key Swiftie?
You should be.
The world will never know.
Cruel Summer, a jam.
The world will never know.
Right. Well, is there anything else you would like to add into today's episode before we say goodbye?
This is going to be a fun season with both of our teams. Meeting 4 times, and my goodness, the Ducks they're just going to be fun.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good
I
game.
cannot wait to see an 8-7 match between our teams. And dear God, I hope there's an 8-7 overtime there.
No.
And come on, Jamie Drysdale scoring the overtime winner. You know how happy that made the Ducks fans that Jamie Drysdale had his like welcome to the NHL moment in Calgary. I'm sorry,
It's okay.
but
It's
he's a
okay.
kid. He's a kid.
I know he's a kid.
He's a little baby. But I can't wait till the season. It's going to be fun, and I honestly hope for at least 2 of our games going to overtime. Just 1 for the content, 2 for the just berserk
The
fun.
chaos. I hope that those are
You
games after the semester because I can't stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning doing hockey.
you know me. I love chaos.
I know you do.
Love
But
chaos.
thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. And JD, where can people find you?
So Jess over there is at Jess Valmasto, and me. Let's see if you can. Yeah, I'm at LO_ducks on Twitter, and my personal Twitter is right down here at StimpyJD, where you could follow me. And I've been talking about music so much. By the time this is out, you'll see on my personal Twitter that I will end with an anecdote. I recently got told that I talk too much about sports, like way too much, and I can never turn it off, which spawned another conversation with another mutual friend. That's like, can you talk about like how long can you go without talking about sports?
Easy.
So we're gonna try that this week.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll see.
well, best
I'm
of
I'm
luck.
more I'm more than just a pretty face talks about sports.
And we will end on that note. This is a Friday fun episode, a fun Friday, whatever fun day.
Whatever fun day. Probably by this point, not like Saturday.
Yeah, honestly.
It'll be a two-parter. Woo.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you next time here on Locked On Flames or Locked On Ducks.